means that you'll not be able to they will not be able to support you when you want to study, maybe let's say in the USA or UK or those developed world. And then also you are supposed to be able to be applying to do your first degree. I mean, like you should be someone who is doing the first degree. Maybe you have a diploma, but you want to do a degree. Yeah, that one I think that should be your first time to do a degree, not someone who is wanting to do masters or willing to do a second degree, or someone who is wanting to join a secondary school. This is not for you. This is someone who is going to a university or an institution uh, to to acquire their first degree. And then you are also required to have some you are required to have done some voluntary work in every other aspect, maybe in the church or any other environment or any other part of your life, but you are supposed to have done some voluntary work to show that you're someone who is willing to contribute to your community in whichever way, small way that you can, and not being paid for it. And then you are supposed to have some results. Let me say, like, you are supposed to have completed secondary school with average to excellent results. That means you need to pass. You need to be able to pass whatever that means to wherever you did your secondary school. But you need to be able to someone who has passed uh, your secondary school, and then you are going to the university. And then you also require to have to write some essays. As we learned yesterday, usually it used to be two essays, but this time they have increased it to three. So all those ones you are supposed to be able to write them, and you are not supposed to use AI for them. You are supposed to put in the work and be natural about them, and write your truth, because they normally go like there's a procedure that they will check to know that you are telling the truth, and then you'll be graded according to that. And then you're also supposed to have some recommendation letters, two of them, from where maybe from someone who knows you professionally or on a personal level, but not your family members. So let's say you are church elder or an elder in the community, maybe your area chief or someone like that, someone who can be able to put the recommendation letter on unofficial stationery. By that we mean like someone who can like write it on a letterhead and has a stamp that can stamp it to 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 certify that this is really coming from that person, and then put in the contacts of the person, mainly the email is supposed to also be indicated there, and the person is supposed to let them know why you deserve the scholarship. And the good news is all the guidelines are there, but just you need to follow them. What else? What else? Uh, I think basically that's what I can remember for now. But yeah, Bida can also add some things as we continue. Thank you.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you so much. And just to clarify on the issue of the budgets or the financial expenses as asked by the other lady. So, one, you need to make sure that you clearly state your academic cost. No, yes, your financial resources. This is the first thing. So the financial resources is that you should make sure that, one, the scholarship does not cover. Sometimes if your school is very expensive, the scholarship may not cover all of the requirements and associated educational expenses. So that is why you are now required to detail how you will pay the remainder of your academic costs. So, for instance, in the first question, they ask you, do you have any prospects for employment, part time or otherwise, while you are in school or between semesters where you can earn income towards your educational cost? So, this question means that while you are studying, do you think that you're going to get a job, either in person or virtual job that can pay you? Could be freelance job or just a casual job that you want to do in order to earn something that can contribute towards your education. It's just a plain yes or no question. So if you put yes, then you will be required to give an explanation of the kind of job and stuff like that. If it is no, then you don't be required to put additional information. And the second question under financial resources is, our maximum scholarship is 3,000 US dollars, but we do not usually award that high amount. If we provide less than the total yearly amount you have asked for in this scholarship application, is there any way you can make up the difference? Because remember, somewhere up there you will already put information about your academic course. So now they want to make sure this makes sense with the amount you are requesting. For instance, if you requested $2,000 per year, or if you requested $1,800 per year, and then they give you $1,500. So is there any way you think you can make up the difference? You have to indicate that clearly with either a yes or a no. And then the next question is, list all sources of income or support and the amount you expect to receive to help you for your education from each source on annual basis. For instance, if you have a job, if your answer up here was yes, so that means you have to indicate from that job how much money are you going to get. If your family contributes to your education, relatives and stuff, how much money do you get from them? Savings. If at all you had saved money before you went to school, how much is that money that you will contribute to your what to your education? Put here. If you have another scholarship, if you have another scholarship behind this scholarship, besides this scholarship you are applying for, you can indicate that here. I think government loans and other loans are not applicable in South Sudan. We don't have these things of loans and stuff. I'm not sure. There are people who are getting student loans. So these ones will just be 0, 0. And then at the end, you calculate this plus this plus this plus this, and then you put the total here. Again, under this, have you received scholarships from other organizations or institutions? If it is yes, you put yes. If it is no, you put no. Do you have any debts with your university? Is there any amount of money that your university wants from you? You can put either yes or no. If it is yes, how much money? So this is the financial resources. Is it clear now?
Yes, it is clear now.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So and then make sure that your maths should be very good here. Make sure
Okay.
the figures, yeah, make sure the figures you put here can add up, because these are things that they actually consider very serious when they are reviewing your application. Most of the emphasis is on these things of money and stuff.
Mm,
Yes.
okay.
Okay then. Thank you. So now we can start. So the first thing is, I want to share with you the tips on writing the essays. So I hope you're seeing my new screen. So there's personal essay statement, and so the personal essay statement encompasses the first two essays you're supposed to write, and they should capture some of the following. And the word range is 500 each. The first one should talk about your background. This should be about you. You should talk about you, really, your age, the place and time of birth, where you live, your level of education so far, what you do in terms of job and stuff, what are your likes and your dislikes. This should be your background in the first in the first in the first essay. And then the next thing is you talk about your family. Now in your family you talk about you, your family, your spouse, your children, if married, your family, your family of your birth, include how many siblings do you have, your birth order in terms of who is the oldest, who is the youngest, are you the oldest or are you the youngest, who are your parents, where do your parents live, are your parents alive or some of them have died, what is the educational level of your parents, what are the income sources of your parents. So these are the things you should be talking about in the first in the first essay. Again, you continue to talk about your life experiences. Here, you should be a bit more detailed about you. You talk about what things have you overcome, what things have you accomplished. It will be very interesting for you to really talk about the challenges you have faced in the life you have lived, and how have you overcome some of these challenges. And even despite these challenges, how have you defied odds to accomplish certain goals or community projects that you had put in front of you. And then you talk about what things do you do for the good of others. Are you a selfless person? What things have you done for the good of what? Of other people. Here you talk about now, here you talk about now your volunteerism, because really the WMI is interested in people who are very good with volunteerism. So you include your voluntary roles, what impact have come as a result of those voluntary roles, your estimated total hours you volunteered, how many hours you volunteered in total, and then you talk about how might these experiences have set you on the path to success or greatness. How could you use these experiences to impact the world further? So you really talk about those things so that they can put your essay really well. So these are the key three things you put in your personal essay. In the previous years, there used to be one essay including your field of study, but now it has been separated. So you have to write this one about yourself separate, and then now the next thing is you now talk about your field of study. In your field of study, you now talk about why you chose to study the particular field you are studying. Yesterday, Isaac said he wants to study statistics and demographics and demography. Now you have to explain to them why have you chosen this particular field, or why do you want to study it, or if you're already studying, why are you studying this field. This is very important because it tells WMI what your career aspirations are in a smart way. You should make sure that you are very specific, you are measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound manner. Make sure that there's a strong justification for your intended course of study, and that is what is really needed here. And then you talk about where will you study it, or where are you already studying it? How long will it take for you to finish the course? What knowledge and skills will you gain by studying that course that you currently what lack? And then you talk about then you talk about why you believe you should be favorably considered for this scholarship. Here, you must really show the Wealth Management Initiative that are not. You must show WMI that not sponsoring you will be a big miss for them, your community, and the world. Don't overestimate your importance, though, or sound so pitiful. Rather, state the most critical positive changes you expect to implement once you complete your undergraduate studies. And you need to summarize how your life experiences have placed you in the best position to cause positive changes your society needs, and also why you are unable to attain your bachelor's degree without their support. You have to really tell why, if they don't select you, you will not be able to study, or why, if they select you, you can really make very good use of the scholarship. So, this is the point you really have to make in this part of your personal essay. So, this is generally how you're supposed to write a personal essay, and then you what? You conclude your essay, and then you can express high hopes and interest to receive the scholarship. Just like how you write the letter, you now this is like you're signing out. You now express your high hopes, and of course, you continue to reiterate your interest in receiving the scholarship. So these are some 6 key points to help you in writing your first essay. So let's come back here. Again, when you're writing an essay, of course, an essay basically has three main parts: the introduction, and then the body. The body has your first point, your second point, your third point, and your conclusion. And then these are the three main parts that constitute an essay. And why does WMI want you to write the what? The personal essay? Because the personal essay is very important part of their decision making process. And of course, if you really did not live through those life experiences, do not exaggerate them. Some people will begin to create the stories and stuff. But sometimes, if you really did not go through or experience certain things, it's easy to tell. So do not fabricate your life experiences. You be very honest. You write what you really went through or what you have really gone through. And then your personal statement tells them about your background, already I explained in the introduction. Your family could be your first point. Your life experiences could be your second point. How your life experiences have shaped you could be your third point. So this one now is why you chose your field of study is going to be a different essay. So you take this one out. This is an early presentation, like I said. And why you believe you should be favorably awarded the scholarship, and that will be what you signed out. So now, okay, yeah, pretty much that is it about the personal essay. Um, that is it about the personal essay, and let me just show you an example of an essay written by someone. Let me see if I can zoom this. Can you see? Is this appearing?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, okay. So here, yeah, I think like this is better. You should be able to see this clearly now. So here somebody is saying, I grew up in a family of 8 in Okeho, a rural area of Oyo State, Nigeria. My late father instilled in me a love for reading and worked tirelessly to enroll me in a Catholic primary school, which was the best school in Okeho at that time. I enjoyed this until he lost his job when I was at a tender age, leading him to take me to our hometown in Ibarapa, another rural area of Oyo State, to continue my education. Shortly after, I returned to Ekoho, where where we were before, to continue my education in a newly established school that was substandard compared to my previous Catholic primary school. The loss of my father's job led to a separation between my father and mother. We were taken care of by our mother, who had very little financial strength, with the financial support from our daddy. In July 2016, I graduated as the best student in my secondary school. Despite the challenges that surrounded me, including unavailability of my father, limited resources, both human and material, and the scarcity of basic amenities in my town at the time. So this is more like an introduction, and here it comes clearly who this person is. Just that here he didn't mention things like his age and then his family order and things like that. So now these are things that you would then put properly in your in your in your essay. You could even put where you are born and things like that. So he continues here. Immediately after my secondary school, I was one of the few students to gain admission to a university in my town. I enrolled at Lodeke Akontola University of Technology to study mathematics, which was against my passion, as I have always been passionate about medical laboratory science and leveraging medical and scientific knowledge to prevent public health diseases related to the environment, water, and food. I was not satisfied with the mathematics as a course of study, also coupled with the exorbitant school fees in Eastern Old universities in Nigeria. In fact, my father had to sell his car to pay my 10 L school fees in Lautech. I had to apply to University of Ibadan, a federal university, to study medical laboratory science and was admitted. Then here, so here, this is like he still continue with his life story. This is like his life experience. So he continues here. I started my studies at the University of Ibadan in 2019 with my dad as my only sponsor. His death 2 years ago served as a turning point. Again, this is another life experience he's trying to bring, creating a significant financial burden for me. Still, I am determined not to let his death cripple my goal of becoming a medical laboratory scientist. I became a science tutor, teaching secondary school students physics and chemistry on weekends. I also work as a private home tutor and occasionally as a market agent for a supermarket in Ibadan, Nigeria. These responsibilities pose a significant inconvenience to me and reduce the amount of quality time I can spend on my academic studies. Again, this is a life experience. He continues. In 2021, my community rewarded my academic excellence with a prize of 100,000 naira in both 2021 and 2022. I used part of the money to pay for my brother's examination fees when my father was critically ill before he passed on. Fortunately, my brother got admitted to the University of Ibadan, but we could not pay for his school fees. So we deferred the admission and he is currently at home, hoping to resume next session. You see? So he continues to put his what? His life experience. And he says, in addition to our overall goal of a public health enthusiast, I became a Millennium Fellow. Now he's talking about his achievements. In 2023, working on awareness on cervical cancer among women, certificate available on request. I participated in Operation Keep University of Ibadan Clean. This is voluntary experience again, working with other volunteers to ensure our environment is as free of dirt as possible. I also participated in work against gender-based violence, campaigned against cultism and drug abuse, and conducted virtual awareness on sickle cell diseases, educating my online audience about the causes and management of sickle cell disease. I have also served as a member of the electoral committee within my university community, elected by the Nigerian Medical Laboratory Science Association, University of Ibadan chapter, to represent my class in the Student Representative Council. In September 2023, I joined forces with other alumni of my secondary school to raise money for the completion of one of the buildings in my secondary school in Okeho. These experiences have been truly rewarding, making me more responsible, contributing to my community, and leaving a lasting legacy. You see this? So he continues here. I am determined and ambitious man who, despite challenges I have faced, including the loss of my sponsor, has demonstrated resilience in pursuing my goal of contributing to public health in my community through medical laboratory science. I strongly believe this scholarship from the Wales Mother Initiative will be a great opportunity for me to achieve my goal and contribute to my community through laboratory science. I am confident that I have the drive to succeed in the field. So that is just his essay. Very cool, straightforward, and really to the point. Anyone who has questions with the first two essays? Anyone who has questions, or we can move to the next essay.
It seems like this is says it combined the other two. It says right.
It combines the academic. No, this one has a bit of the academic one, but you because also still this one, yes, this one combines the first two essays, because this one was written last year. So last year the first two essays were one, so it combines.
Right.
So what happens now here is you could just because this one reaches now 1,000 words, but now what they want is they want 500 words per essay. So you could just separate the 500 or 500,
Okay.
because this one, yeah, this one, if we count, if we do the word count, let me see. And again, what is missing here is title. This one does not have a title. So make sure that your essay has a title. It's very, very important. Yeah, you see, this is 700. This is 776 words, and if you edit, you add more words, it could go to 1,000, and then you separate into 500, 500, because what they want is now 500 words essay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, if there's no other question, let us move to the next essay. The next essay is the project essay. So the project essay is, yes, someone's hand is up.
So I have a question about the number of words. Is it a must that the essay should be 500?
No, it's not. It's not a must. They say that it's not a must. So they say, let me see the question again. Usually they say yes. They say uh, 500 words maximum. Are you seeing
Okay.
here?
Yeah.
Please write 350 to 500. Yeah, so it's not a must that they should 500. So the maximum is 500 words. That means it should not go beyond
Oh,
500, but your essay should be 350 to 500.
okay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the same thing with the one for the academic one on the chosen field. Should be again 500 words or less. Cool. So let us proceed with the second essay. So the second essay is to discuss, if you are given $1,500 to solve an issue in your community, what would you do? So here, the first thing is, what issue do you want to address? You need to be very specific and practical about a single problem. Make sure you choose only one single problem in your community, and it should be clearly spelled. An issue identified in line with what you study might be easier to discuss and feed yourself than just, yes. Actually, one thing that you should be well with is, you really need to choose an issue that is related to your course. For instance, if you're doing medicine, you could think about an issue in the field of medicine that you want to handle. If you are in the issue in the if you're in the field of computer science, you think about that. In the field of statistics, think about an issue in that area that you think might be important. And then number two, you now need to clearly come out, why is this a current or continuing issue in your community? You need to give a brief account of this problem, the origin of the problem, the trend over time, propagating factors, if any, its future, and so forth, including a current magnitude of the problem, like factual magnitude. That is, you need to have data and the sources, you cite them. You need to estimate based on personal observation and why you consider it a problem. Give impacts of it to you, your community, your country, and so forth. And how much will it take your project to be implemented to resolve this what? This issue. Then the third thing is, why is this issue important? Why do you want to solve this issue? Now you need to justify the importance of this issue for you to tackle it. What are the detriments to you, the community, and the country if it is not solved? What will go wrong if this issue is not solved, if this project is not implemented? Again, you need to talk about who would benefit. Now, who would benefit is now your target population, because you need to be very clear about your target audience or your target beneficiaries for intervention. You need to state clearly and precisely with estimates how many people you are targeting, and then you can go into detail how you will carry out your project, include all activities to be carried out and who will be responsible for them, including yourself, if you're going to have any collaborators, the timelines you need to implement the activity, and what are the end results of each activity. And then you need to also think about what is the impact. The impact should come out clearly. Yeah, the impact would come out clearly. It should be estimated, and if the magnitude And then you need to also think about whether the impact is replicable, sustainable, or a one-off thing. Whether you can trace after 2 years, will you be able to visit the project area and you can find a mark of the project? You need to discuss the impact of the project widely. And then the next thing is, how would you measure the success of the activity? Now you need indicators. The indicator should be specific and quantifiable. It could be whole numbers, it could be percentages, so that it would be easier to determine if the magnitude in the second bullet point and the impact in the above bullet point were clearly what spelled. Number 7 is to provide a detailed budget in US dollars for all the expenses. And this must include everything that will cost financially or covered in kind by you, your community, your collaborators, etc. You need to be very detailed as possible, as lump sum expenditures will be hard to justify if your intended intervention is longitudinal as opposed to a one-time event. So the budget should reflect its sustainability until further funding or self-sustenance is achieved. If it is a one-off event, the budget should reflect the exhaustion of the $1,500 by the closeout stage of the intervention. And then you conclude your what? Your essay. Make sure that it should be possibly strong conclusive points and include any lessons you expect to learn from implementing this project. Additionally, when you are writing this question essay, um, you could look at, for instance, you need to, in the introduction, you think about the title of the project. For instance, you could say COVID-19 Community Health Awareness Program. The activity beneficiaries include the elderly, community members with chronic illnesses, location of the activity. You could say it is in Luanda, Suia County in Kenya. The total cost is going to be maybe $1,000. And then the needs. Now the needs assessment, you answer the why. You could say answering the why of this activity, any data that was published to back the need to have this activity, how does it help the beneficiaries, what happens or will not happen if this activity is not done. For instance, you could say the COVID-19 pandemic has ravaged the world and cost $1.5 million since its outbreak, according to the BBC. Available data shows that majority of the deaths occur among the elderly and people with chronic illnesses such as diabetes, hypertension, and asthma, according to the World Health Organization. Or the local data in Suia County shows that the elderly and people with chronic illnesses make up 20% of the population, about 70% of whom are in Luanda. At present, 95% of COVID admissions in Suia County Hospital are of the elderly and people with chronic illnesses. In Luanda, people are indulged in many congregate activities such as marriages, funerals, and church programs since the lifting of the COVID-19 restrictions, rendering the at-risk populations more vulnerable because they do not implement preventative measures. Implementing this activity will improve use of COVID-19 preventative measures and lead to 80% reduction in COVID-19 among the elderly and the people with chronic illnesses. Now, it's in this you have put the needs assessment and then why this project is important. Now, in the second point, you now put the goals of the activities, 2 or 3 of them, and make sure you are smart. The first activity could be to conduct at least 10 weekly meetings in a quarter. 2 could be to distribute 2 face masks to at least 300 elderly persons and people with chronic illnesses in 3 months. Activities to be carried out. List 3 to 4 activities that will help you realize the above goals. Cost estimate, timeline, and deliverable. List any partnerships you will implement. For example, you could say the local church in the village will support with participant mobilization and provide space and furniture for meetings. Sustainability. If you choose an ongoing activity, what sustainability plans are in place beyond the 1,000 grand? Outline them. This is a one-off activity that will be concluded in 3 months, something like that. And then now in the third point, you now talk about the monitoring and evaluation. In the monitoring and evaluation, you list your indicators to be used to measure the progress of the activity towards its goals. like how you collect data, when, what is needed to collect the data, analysis of indicator performances, etc. The number of weekly meetings held, for instance, the M&E indicator could be the number of weekly meetings held in the first quarter, attendance and minutes documented, their total in a quarter is counted, number of face masks delivered to elders and people with chronic illness in 3 months, signed list, and totals counted. So this could be, these are some indicators that you could include in your essay. And then in the conclusion, of course, you now put your conclusion and things of that sort. So this is pretty much how you could write your essay. Again, let me show you this example from the other gentleman. So this is the essay. This is his essay, his project essay. I hope all of you are seeing. According to Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon with which you can use to change the world. However, many communities around the world, including my community of Keho in Oyo State, do not have access to quality books and other educational resources. According to news reported by Punch newspaper, one of the leading newspapers in Nigeria, on 24th of May 2019, 60% of children in government-owned schools did not have access to books and writing materials in Africa, and 70% of children in government schools in Nigeria use a book for more than 5 subjects. In addition, United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, also reported that 70% of Nigerian children aged between 7 and 14 cannot read a simple sentence or solve a basic mathematics problem. Out of these proportions, Oyo State, where I live, is ranked as one of the states with the highest number, using several yardsticks by different bodies and organizations like UBEC. This problem is majorly due to lack of access to books and other educational resources. Therefore, if I were awarded $1,000 for a community service project, I would address the issue of lack of books and educational resources in my community. So you see, here the person has come out clearly with the problem statement. He has cited sources, he has put data, and has put the magnitude of the problem and its impact in the community and the intervention they want to undertake. Now they move on to talk about now the target area. Okeho is a community located in Oyo State of Nigeria. The community has about 8 public secondary schools. 5 out of the 8 secondary schools would be selected. About 400 students would benefit from this project due to the population of my community. The lack of access to books and other resources has created a vacuum between the students and their dream. The other problem associated with its ranges: drug abuse, sex abuse, thuggery, unwanted pregnancy, etc. All these have culminated to, but you need to avoid short forms like this. All these have culminated to poor development of our community. The project would involve creating, now here it's talking about what? The activities. Would involve creating awareness about the importance of reading books and education within the rural community, purchasing the books and other educational resources to be distributed to the children, and setting up a reading club. The awareness and the distribution would be done simultaneously on a weekly basis for 10 weeks. The awareness will be done in collaboration with Literal Renaissance Foundation, which will include talking about why and how to imbibe the reading culture into themselves. It would be done using different educational materials like charts, videos, and all. By the end of the 10 weeks, about 200 students within the community from 5 schools would have been reached. The books and other resources would be tailored to meet the educational needs of the community, including textbooks, references that align with our community education goals. About 400 books would be distributed to 200 students. At the end of the 10 weeks, a reading club would be established in each of the schools and would be handed over to the school authority. All this will be done in partnership with Literal Renaissance Foundation, a foundation that is equally passionate about increasing reading culture within the society. Now here they talk about the project budget. Purchase of books would cost $750. Purchase of other educational materials, $250. Transport to the school, $100. Volunteer expenses for 10 weeks, $200. Miscellaneous expenses would cost $200. To measure the success, I would track the number of books distributed and the number of children that have used the books and educational resources. I will look at the academic performance data from the schools and compare it to the previous years to determine if there has been an improvement since the implementation of the project. I would also collect feedback in form of data, which can be analyzed from the teachers and parents to assess the success of the project. In conclusion, the lack of books and other educational resources remains a major problem to education in Africa and in my community here in Nigeria. So this is more like the project and how you can go about it. And of course, some final tips. If you must write your essay properly, here are some general tips for writing your essay. Make sure that one, make the language more direct and don't beat around the bush. For example, will aim at should be aimed at. Don't say the activity will aim at. No, you say the activity is aimed at. I decided to carry out this. No, don't say I decided. You say I carried out this. Your language should be very direct and don't beat around the bush. Another one is highlight important points. Use action words more than passive words to drive your points home. Bring out your achievements captivatively, especially those related to volunteerism. Make sure that all your achievements, you bring them out very clearly in your essays. And then you need to demonstrate leadership with measurable outcomes in both voluntary or paid work done. Yeah, make sure you demonstrate leadership properly. For the question response essay, ensure your role is clear in the activity you intend to implement. Yes, in the project, make sure it should come clear. Don't write it just like a project, and make sure you need to clearly indicate. Make sure it's clear that you will be the one to implement this activity. And then demonstrate leadership with measurable outcomes. Of course, follow the basic essay writing tips. Make sure you have an introduction, 3 paragraphs, essay body, and conclusive paragraph. No need for you to have headings. No need for headings in essays. Follow basic English language rules of sentence writing. Begin with a capital letter, end with a full stop. Unless something is between is a proper noun. All must be capped in small letters. The choice of verbs, singular or plural, and the appropriate tenses. Make sure your tenses are correct. Punctuation marks should be checked well. And you need to revise your 8 parts of speech in English and apply them appropriately. Always check spelling for any errors. Use varied English words such as synonyms. Avoiding repetition improves your essay quality. Avoid using shorthands such as doesn't, won't, don't. Write all of them in full. Does not, will not, do not. Of course, your race is against word count. So if you are more precise, the better. You can always write more with less words. So these are some key things, some key important points, like general tips for just rules of English as you write your essays. So far, so good. Any questions? Are we moving? Do you have any concerns on how to write that? If you have questions, you can raise your hand or you can just unmute and ask your question. Any questions? Maybe Joseph, if you have something to add, since there are no questions. Looks like everything is clear.
Yeah, I think basically everything is very clear to everyone. Otherwise, we'll be having questions. But however, I'm just going to try to re-emphasize some of the points to just make sure that we get it properly and we follow it. And especially, let's talk about the project essay. I really emphasize that it's very important, as you already mentioned, that you should be able to tailor the project to your field of study, because this will really make more sense. Like to show them why you really want to study what you want to study, and this will make like you'll get to know that okay, this person is serious about what he's doing, and there's a reason why he's trying to do what he wants to do. He wants to study. And then also, I will also emphasize that if you are writing a project essay, you should at least be able to 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 make it like to tell us, because if you can see from the guidelines we had yesterday, what they were saying is like they really want someone who wants to study in their own country, or even if you want to go and study in another country but you are willing to come back. So that willing to come back, that means they want you to be able to study, but then you come and have an impact in your community. So once you tell your project essay or your project towards your community, then it will be more helpful. And then also for the projects, because there are different kind of projects, like you can have a one-off project, like the books project that we just had about. I think his intention is to have it one-off. That's why he had to, his budget just detailed that he's going to use the 1,000 that is going to be provided for. But however, you can have also a project whereby you feel it has to be continuous, a project either on a monthly basis or quarterly or whatever. But then, if that's the project that you're having, then you need to state like how, even if after that money that they give you, like even if the money is finished, how you are going to be able to still continue with the project, like how you'll be able to finance the project, or which kind of partners you think you can be able to get uh, to the project to help you continue with the project forward. So that one will also be, you need to be able to indicate it there, because from the thing it is only they give you the money once. So if you want it to continue, then how are you going to make it continue? Because they are not going to be giving you the money uh, always. And then and then what else? And then also the other thing is if and once you are writing your essays, I will also suggest that you have someone, probably someone who is very good at writing essays, or in English, or someone like that who can go through your essay for you, because just to check if you're going in the right direction, or just to give you an opinion where you can improve, uh, and where you can make things better. Yeah, and then also the issue of the title, I think it is also very important. You should be able to have a title for your essays. Yeah, pretty much. I think everything was tackled well. So this was just something I wanted to add small. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Joseph. If there are no questions, then we wish you really the very best in your application. Make sure you have all your documents in place. You can draft your essays, and then we will help you in reviewing your essays. If in case you finish your essays and you want, if you are not able to find someone to look at the essay for you, we will help. Just shoot us the essay via email, via our organization email. You can send to us requesting for review. We will review and get back to you with any comments you may have. If you are writing your essay on a Google document, you can just add our Gmail as an editor, and then we will be able to make comments. If you're writing yours on Microsoft Office Word, then you can just send us as an email attachment, and then we will make comments using Microsoft Word. But again, that means for you to be able to see our comments, you should be using a latest version of Microsoft Office, because what happens is we will not really make direct edits on your essay. What we do is we will give you edit suggestions. So that means you will now go and either accept or reject some of those, and then we'll just make a comments on what we think about what you have written. and then from there you will then proceed with the application. But of course, it still makes sure you really put very good calculations in terms of your fees, in terms of your financial resources, and also in terms of your volunteer hours. Those things are very important. The ones that are inside the application form, apart from the essays, all those things should really be very clear. Make sure you get faster information about your course, um, your academic calendar from your school, and you will pick up from there. I'm very certain that if you put together a very good application, your chances of selection will be very high. If, of course, like I said, if there are no questions, we'll give you back 50 minutes of your time, and we wish you the very best of your afternoon.
Thank you very much for the facilitation, and I believe that with the examples that you have shared with us, they can really open up something. I think it is more of being practical rather than being a theoretical. With the examples that you gave us and showed us, I think they are very important, and I think they've opened up our brains. I just have a concern about, okay, for example, uh, just is a kind of question that combines of both yesterday and today's session. Yesterday we okay, when you go to the filling gap where it talks about the resources, like as an applicant, what are the other resources that I may have uh, to make sure that I continue progressing in my educational career. Okay, how about if I earn something less than $50? Or do you think, or technically, do you think it could be something like less than that, or at least should be something like at least can push one to the other level? Because these people also look at people who would help. Okay, someone who would help his or herself. What do you think about that? Can I include like $50, or should be at least something that at least also can try to take a burden off from my side?
Ah, you have to be very honest. You cannot put more than, let's say, if you're getting $50, you cannot say $100. When then where will you get that $50 from? So be very honest. You put what you really get. If you get $50, put $50. Don't put 150 when you get $50. Where will you get the other $100 from? So
Thank you.
just put yeah, just put the actual figure.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
I also have to ask,
Yes.
yeah, about the financial issue. What if you're not earning any money, or what if
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have?
If you're not earning money, then you just put the, like, you don't have a job, put no job. So under job you put zero.
Okay.
Yes.
And then one more thing, Peter.
Yes.
Uh, when filling the form, I think there is that comment whereby it talks about the university that one is trying to apply to. There's that
Yes.
part of saying the last assignment. What does it refer to exactly? For example, I have no any other assignment. Maybe I'm trying to, okay, maybe I'm waiting for the next applications to be launched, and then I will be trying to apply, or else I've started applying and I have no other assignment. What can I include there?
They said assignment.
They said like under the university that the one is trying to apply to, like, okay,
Mm.
for example, when do you expect to start your studies? And then there's that session, there's that question that asks like last day of the assignment that you expect to accomplish.
Yeah, and then you just later on there you just put not applicable,
Okay.
because if you say you are not admitted in the university, those questions will not come,
Okay.
because some of them are automated. Some of them are meant for some. Yes, Joseph, you want to say something? You're welcome.
I was just wondering, is it that you're asking about where they say when you expect to start your studies and then when you expect to end them, or that's a different thing?
There's a question that says I don't know if someone can try to log in at least, and maybe one of you, either Joshua or Bida, just to get for us the question. uh, I think there's a question there asking about the last date of the assignment.
Okay, this is the paper application. Let me come to the side of the university. Um, university 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 proposed study.
Yeah, number of
Yes.
people. Yes,
So
scroll
here,
down.
program of study, the program of the level, whether degree or diploma,
Yeah,
where
can
you
you
want to
scroll down
study,
a bit? Just
name
little
of
by
school,
little.
the city, the country, the website, the duration of studies. Duration of
Continue.
studies, yeah, start to finish. What is your current enrollment status? Whether you are not yet accepted, currently you are not attending classes, began program of study.
Yes.
You
How
are
do you
currently,
expect to have finished your required course? Please write a date
okay,
and
this is
month.
it. When do you expect to finish your required course? This is what you mean?
Yeah.
So this one is for people who say that they're already in the university. So for instance, people like Makur who are already studying, definitely you know when you will finish. So you have to write those dates.
Thank you for
But
the
then
clarification.
for you who is still in the process of applying, this one does not apply to you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you choose, because now for you, you will choose here, what is your current enrollment status? You will choose not yet accepted. So if you choose not yet accepted, then these questions will not come for you in the online form.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, just to add to what you already responded to about the finances, is the other lady who asked whether if you are not working or what. I think that's why it is very important for you to do research, especially on the schools and the courses that you want to do, so that you find and also you need to understand your finances. Like for example, if there's a course that you want to do and then you see they tell you that the maximum they can give you is $3,000, and then you feel this money cannot cater for your for your for your tuition and all other things in that 1 year. So that will mean that you need to look for other options. Either you kind of look for a different university, or you look for, uh, or you change your course to something that the money that you maybe you get can accommodate. That's if you cannot, if you don't have other sources of income. So that's why it's very important for you to first of all understand your finances, and then do enough research on the universities and then the course that you'll be incurring during your study for you to make a good decision for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for that
Yeah.
clearance.
Thank you. Yeah. But I think, but for you, things will be very simple for you because you're already a student. So you have most of the information.
Yeah.
Hello, Bida.
Yeah. It's usually very hard. Yes, please.
Yes, I want to also to ask you a question.
Mm.
Yeah, some of us have been enrolled in university and you have been dropped out because of the financial issue. So for that case, what can you do?
But did you apply for DEDIA in the university?
No, yeah, I did not apply for the DDR because I just leave it be like that without applying for the DDR.
So you want to start afresh?
Of course, maybe I want to start a prep, but I've already completed semester 1, and I hope to go for semester 2. And there is no money to proceed ahead, so I was dropped out.
Yes. So that's why I'm asking. I'm saying because if you're going to if the school is going to allow you to continue from where you stopped.
Yeah, if I have to continue, I have to start afresh.
That means you're going to apply for admission again, or you will just use your admission.
Yeah, maybe.
No, not maybe. It needs to be clear.
Yeah, if I'm going to apply using my index number, the previous one I used to apply because that one is already existing in the
Which
university.
university is that?
It's Stafford.
Stafford. Yeah. So what you do is you try to find out from them whether you will be able to continue using the same registration and whether you will continue from the second semester or the first semester, because because you see these parts here where you have to indicate what is your current enrollment status. For you, you could say, you could choose the second one. You could choose the last one, the third one. You had begun your program study, but you are not taking classes now because of what? Because of finances. This could be the option you're going to go for. This one here. You began your program
Okay.
study, but you're currently not taking classes. So what you do is, you need to, as you are applying, you try to find out from your university whether they will allow you to continue from. Did you do the exam for the first semester?
Yes, I did it.
Yes. And then your result came out.
The result was out there.
Yes. If the result came out, then that's fine. Just find out from the university whether they will allow you to continue from semester 2, and then you will choose this option. When did you drop?
2 years back.
Oh yeah. Then that means you really need to check with the university. You check with them if you are in